Hey everyone, welcome back to Freelancing FM. Today we're chatting about leveling up your freelance game. You know, that journey from feeling stuck and underpaid to being seen as a true professional. We've got some powerful mindset shifts to discuss that can really transform how you work and earn.
Absolutely. I remember when I started out, I was desperate for gigs and ready to take anything I could get. But over time, I realized it wasn't about my talent alone. There was a whole mental switch I needed to make. So let's dive into these key shifts.
The first big shift is learning to see yourself not just as a service provider, but as a problem solver. If you think about it, clients don't care about random tasks. They care about solutions to their problems.
Right. When I was early in my freelance days, I'd say, I can write copy for you, or I can design your website. People would just ask me, how much per hour? But once I started saying, I can help you increase your sales by creating landing pages that actually convert, the question shifted to, wow, how soon can we start?
Exactly. And that leads to higher rates too, because if you're tying your work to a real result, you're not just another commodity. Instead of listing features, like offering coding, copywriting, or design, think about the underlying goal. Are you solving low sales? Are you boosting conversions or simplifying a confusing user experience?
And don't forget the advantage of specialized messaging. When you present yourself as a person who tackles a specific pain point, you attract people who value that specialization. That's when the price conversation becomes more fluid because they see the benefit beyond just the hours spent.
Right on. Next on our list is switching from being reactive to being strategic. I know this one was a game changer for me. Instead of waiting around for clients to appear in my inbox, I started building a plan. Maybe that was a lead generation funnel. Maybe it was networking at events. Or maybe it was creating a simple tracking system for potential projects.
The feast-or-famine cycle is real. 1 month, you're overloaded, and the next, you're panicking, refreshing job boards all day. Getting strategic means setting up a pipeline, following up with past leads, or using email lists. It's about steering the ship rather than waiting for the wind to blow you somewhere.
Exactly. And having that strategy can free you from the stress of random client flows. I used to freak out every time a project ended. Now, I've got a small CRM where I track every warm lead, what I discussed with them last, and when I plan to follow up. It's a night and day difference in how stable my business feels.
Let's move on to one of my personal favorites, building assets, not just income. We all know the dread of that moment when we stop working and the money stops flowing. That's the hallmark of trading time for money, but if you transform your knowledge into products, like an ebook, a course, or templates, you have something that can earn you money while you sleep.
Yes, I used to keep coding tips on random sticky notes. Then I realized, wait, if I polish these tips into a neat little guide, that's something I can sell. The idea is to create intellectual property that keeps paying you back, so you're not constantly chasing the next invoice.
And people sometimes overlook the simplest forms of assets. Maybe it's your templates, or a unique process you've developed for design or for SEO. Documenting those and packaging them can become a side income stream, or even a major source of revenue if it really takes off.
Absolutely. Speaking of unique processes, the fourth shift is going from being generic to unmistakable. That's all about branding, about finding what makes you stand out and running with it. I remember when I stopped calling myself a freelance writer and leaned into my quirky storytelling style. Suddenly, people were hiring me because they liked my voice.
A lot of freelancers try to please everyone and end up blending in. It's a fear thing. If I don't appeal to everyone, I'll lose opportunities. But the reality is that having a distinct personality or niche can make you the go-to person for a particular problem. Whether it's a fun, geeky brand or a hyper-professional vibe, owning that identity sets you apart.
And that's where the big money often is, right? Clients pay premium rates to someone who's memorable, specialized, and obviously a great match for their needs. It also feels good to show your true personality in your brand. It's a more authentic way to work.
Definitely. Another biggie is professionalizing your client relationships. How many times have we heard freelancers complain about scope creep or late night calls? Setting boundaries, having a proper contract, and establishing communication policies can do wonders for your sanity and your professional image.
It's so true. Early on, I said yes to everything. Midnight fix? Sure. Weekend emergency? Absolutely. But I ended up exhausted, with no personal life. Then I realized that if I acted like a doormat, clients would treat me like one. The moment I started saying, here are my office hours, here's how many revisions we include, People took it seriously, and the cool part is that the more structured you are, the more clients feel confident in your process.
Exactly. So you set the tone. If you have an onboarding process, a clear statement of work, and a straightforward timeline, clients see you as an expert who knows what they're doing. That also stops little add-ons from creeping in. When you define boundaries up front, it's easier to say, let's talk about revising the contract if they want extra work done.
That's a perfect segue to the last mindset shift: understanding your finances and treating freelancing as a real business. Lots of us start off winging it. Payments come in, bills go out, and we hope for the best. But ignoring cash flow, taxes, and profit margins will catch up with you sooner or later.
Absolutely. I remember the panic at tax time, trying to figure out how much I owed and whether I had enough set aside. That was a wake-up call. Now, I track everything with accounting software, plan ahead for quiet months, and keep a dedicated bank account for taxes. Just having that structure lifts a massive weight off my shoulders.
And it frees up mental space to focus on the fun stuff: serving clients, building new products, refining your craft. If you're constantly worried about money, you can't bring your best creativity to the table. Plus, once you understand your numbers, you can make smarter decisions about which projects to take on and how to price them.
Exactly. So let's recap these 6 shifts. 1, from service provider to problem solver. 2, from reactive to strategic. 3, from just creating income to building assets. 4, from generic to unmistakable. 5, from loose relationships to professional client management. And 6, from ignoring finances to actual business acumen.
That's the roadmap right there. The best part is, none of these require you to go back to school or get a new certification. They're about how you think and then putting that new mindset into action.
Right. And for anyone feeling overwhelmed by all these shifts, don't panic. Just pick one that resonates the most right now. Maybe you realize you're undercharging because you're not framing your services as solutions. Or maybe you need to set up an invoicing system to get your finances in order.
Exactly. Take that one step. It might be drafting a new elevator pitch that highlights results, or signing up for an accounting app, or carving out time each week to build a mini digital product. The key is consistent action.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I think that wraps up our deep dive into the mindset changes that can turn a struggling freelancer into a thriving professional. It's been an enlightening chat.
Definitely. And to our listeners, remember, shifting your perspective can transform your reality. You deserve to be treated like a pro. Just make sure you're acting like one. That's it for today's episode. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Go take that next step and watch your freelance career flourish. See you soon.